Coming up on Falcon Weekly, the final push. Candidates are ramping up the efforts to get voters on Super Tuesday. We've got the latest from the campaign trail.
And giving your brain a boost just in time for midterms, see which foods doctors say you can add to your diet to give you a sharper mind.
And the Oscar goes to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo is king of the acting world. We'll recap all of the Oscar night's biggest moments in the buzz. Falcon Weekly starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Brianna Rose.
And I'm Elia McCutcheon. Thanks so much for joining us on this Leap Day.
We're just hours away from our turn to cast votes in the presidential primary.
Tomorrow is Super Tuesday, the biggest day of the 2016 primary season. It's the day when a dozen states hold their nominating contest. In addition to the states on this map, Super Tuesday also includes the Democratic race for American Samoa and Democrats living abroad. Key states in the Republicans tomorrow include Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee. For the Democrats, key states include Texas, Georgia, and Colorado. A new CNN poll shows Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are ahead in their respective Republican and Democratic contests. In fact, 70% of the people polled said Trump and Clinton are now likely to earn their party's presidential nominations.
So how will this all play out on Super Tuesday? Scott McLean takes a look at the race and breaks down the latest numbers.
A day before Super Tuesday, Marco Rubio is giving Donald Trump a taste of his own medicine, calling him a con man with a spray tan and small hands.
We are not going to allow a con artist to take control of the party of Lincoln and Reagan.
But the mudslinging may be all for nothing. A new CNN ORC poll shows that Trump is running away with the race with 49% support among Republicans. Rubio is not even close. Looking to close the gap, Rubio's schedule is packed today. 5 events in 4 states. Donald Trump has only 2.
Donald Trump is poised to do something that neither Mitt Romney nor John McCain could do. He is poised to win on both sides of the Republicans' geographic and demographic divide.
Tomorrow is Super Tuesday.
And on the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton looks all but unstoppable, coming off a big win in South Carolina. Heading into the Super Tuesday contests, Clinton's popularity among African American voters is expected to help her in the southern states. Bernie Sanders says he has a shot in Minnesota, Colorado, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, and Vermont.
I think you're going to see us doing, and I think the polls indicated, much better within the African-American community outside of the Deep South.
But nationally, it will be an uphill battle for Sanders. Clinton leads Sanders 55% to 38%, according to the poll. Regardless of the Super Tuesday result, Sanders insists he still has a path to the nomination. In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
The road to the White House passed through Alabama over the weekend. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton made her 3rd appearance in the state of Alabama since declaring her run for president. Clinton held a rally at Miles College in Fairfield on Saturday. She spoke about many topics, including cracking down on voting rights, knocking down systemic racism, and reforming the criminal justice system. Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump visited Madison, Alabama Sunday. About 30,000 people gathered at Madison City Stadium, where Trump described it as the biggest crowd of the political season by far. Trump told the crowd he still plans to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump also picked up a major endorsement for his campaign during his Alabama visit. Senator Jeff Sessions threw his support behind the GOP frontrunner. Senator Sessions is the first sitting U.S. senator to endorse Trump's presidential bid.
Trump wasn't the only GOP candidate to stop in Alabama over the weekend. Marco Rubio spoke at Samford University, and Ted Cruz spoke to voters in Montgomery. Ben Carson is scheduled to speak to students at Auburn Montgomery this evening.
Presidential candidates aren't the only thing you can vote for tomorrow.
A proposal to allow Sunday alcohol sales in Shelby County is also on the ballot. Jordan Ashley Ford joins us with more on this story. Jordan?
Thanks, guys. Shelby County is currently not allowed to sell alcohol on Sunday. The State House of Representatives and Senate both unanimously voted in favor to allow the sale of alcohol on Sundays, and now voters will get the chance to decide. I went around campus today to find out what students think about the possibility of Sunday sales.
I should be able to buy alcohol whenever I want to buy alcohol. They should be able to sell alcohol on Sundays.
I think we should be allowed to buy alcohol on Sundays because it's going to happen anyway.
I do believe that they should be able to sell alcohol on Sundays.
Even though I'm against drinking, I do not consume alcohol, but I think that Shelby County should residents should be able to buy alcohol on Sunday. Just because if you're able to buy it on any other day of the week, I think Sunday should be able to buy it. That's just my opinion.
And I think it will also help the economy around Shelby County because that's another sales tax that they can use for schools, education, and other areas.
Don't forget, tomorrow is the day for you to make your voice be heard. I'm Jordan Ashley Ford, reporting for Falcon Weekly.
Thanks, Jordan. Remember, there's more news online 24/7. Just search for Falcon Weekly on Facebook and Twitter to see more stories and news throughout the week.
Coming up, see how a art class is turning some students' trash into a masterpiece for all campus to enjoy.
Also, catch that unicorn. Find out why some police officers went on a chase that sounds like a fairy tale story.
Plus, see why students are wanting a little more bang for their buck with the selection of food in the caf. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly.
The Shelby County Drug Enforcement Task Force arrested 2 Montevallo men this week in separate drug cases. Dunny Isaiah Rogers, who lives in Montevallo, was arrested Friday after resisting arrest and hitting a police car. Rogers was arrested on multiple drug charges after the folks in Calera complained about drug activity. Rogers has allegedly been involved in distributing heroin, marijuana, and synthetic marijuana. Meanwhile, Derek Demetrius Reed was charged with multiple counts of felony drug distribution for selling heroin, cocaine, and alprazolam. The Shelby County Drug Task Force says Reed was part of a drug trafficking enterprise that has been under investigation since January 2015. Reed was released last week on $415,000 bond.
Turning to campus headlines, Montevallo students are speaking out about the FBI's demand for Apple to create a new iOS with a backdoor that would allow the device security code to be bypassed. Falcon Weekly's Hannah Bell has our story.
Smartphone usage on campus seems to grow more and more each day. Students are not only using their phones for recreation, but they utilize the technology in homework and even classwork. It's no surprise that some students read the news of an iPhone update that the FBI is demanding Apple to create on their smartphone apps.
So I read that the FBI is trying to get Apple to create an entirely new processing system, like a whole new iOS that has some gap in the back door that will allow Apple to go into any one phone that they physically have in their hand.
Following the terrorist shootings in San Bernardino, the FBI has recovered the iPhone belonging to one of the shooters. Now the government is asking Apple to find a way to access the information on this phone. In a message to its customers, Apple explained why it is resisting the creation of such a software. Apple explained that once this type of software is created, anyone with the right technology could potentially gain access to the private information stored on any phone that they have in their physical possession.
And it's more than messages, pictures, and Snapchats that are at risk. Any financial information stored on your phone through Apple Pay or health information could become accessible to anyone.
iPhone user Kristen Oswald is concerned that her family could be affected.
My bank account is also like my mom can get into my bank account. They could get into hers, and then they could get into all of my dad's information too, just through going from me.
Catherine Nally says the idea is ridiculous.
Once Apple can do it, I don't see any reason why other people won't be able to do it, and I think that it creates a system that's unsafe for everyone.
Although the idea of this so-called backdoor has some students unsettled, not everyone is totally against the plan. Jane Goodman says she thinks the idea could be helpful, but as an optional accessory for future users.
You're kind of infringing on people's rights a little bit if it's mandatory.
Reporting for Falcon Weekly, I'm Hannah Bell.
Apple will make its case before Congress Tuesday.
One art instructor's idea for a creative project had students bringing their trash to class. Falcon Weekly reporter Courtney Samilian has more.
It's really hard to ignore.
Students gathered on the ground floor of the library Thursday night for a reception celebrating the Plastic Project.
Really creative, very creative.
Art instructor Amy Fager was inspired to start the project after attending an exhibition and seeing sculptures made out of plastic collected from the ocean.
I started to form this plan of what an Art 100 class would look like that was going to be an active learning experience.
I really thought this was a phenomenal idea.
Fager and her class of 27 students began bringing in all of their used plastic, almost 2,500 pieces in total.
That's a lot of plastic.
It was a lot of water bottles, and I hate to say that I contributed a lot of those.
After 8 weeks of collecting and 3 weeks of assembly, this plastic chandelier was put on display here at Carmichael Library.
Now it reaches this audience here in this public space. It does its job of being a powerful artwork that raises awareness about a separate topic, plastic consumption.
And while almost half the plastic used in the project can be recycled, Fager says there's one thing from the plastic project she hopes will never go away.
That experience that those 27 people lived, that's what they take with them forever.
Reporting for Falcon Weekly, I'm Courtney Simillion.
The plastic project will be on display in the library until March 11th.
Still ahead, a new survey has ranked retailers according to customer satisfaction. Find out which company is at the bottom of the list.
And Subway is making a change to one of its meat options. Find out what they're doing to make it healthier. We'll be right back. And now it's time to talk about some trending stories.
Falcon Weekly's Courtney Boyd and Matt Hartchuck join us for the buzz. What do you have for us today, Matt?
Thanks, guys. At the 88th Academy Awards, Leonardo DiCaprio finally won the elusive Oscar for his leading role in The Revenant, and host Chris Rock addressed controversy over the lack of diversity in nominees this year. Reporter Diane Gallagher wraps up the key moments from the award ceremony from Hollywood.
6 nominations over 22 years, and Leonardo DiCaprio is finally an Oscar winner. In accepting the Best Actor award for The Revenant, he brought the climate change discussion into focus.
Let us not take this planet for granted. I do not take tonight for granted. Thank you so very much.
The political themes did not end there. Host Chris Rock hit head-on the Oscars So White controversy.
Hollywood is sorority racist. It's like, we like you, Rhonda, but you're not a Kappa.
Alejandro Iñárritu picked up the trophy for Best Director again this year, bringing his career trophy count to 4.
And make sure for once and forever that the color of his skin become as irrelevant as the length of our hair.
And one of the Spotlight producers spoke directly to the Pope, calling for an end to sexual abuse scandals within the church.
Pope Francis, it's time to protect the children and restore the faith.
Brie Larson won Best Actress, her first Oscar for her role in Room. And in a huge upset, Mark Rylance beat out Sylvester Stallone to take home the Best Supporting Actor award for his role in Bridge of Spies. Alicia Vikander won the Best Supporting Actress trophy for The Danish Girl. Finally, Mad Max Fury Road picked up 6 Oscars, the most of any film nominated this year. Though she did not win an Oscar, Lady Gaga stole the show with her impassioned rendition of Till It Happens to You.
Okay, guys, so that was a very eventful Oscars that I think a lot of people tuned in to watch. There was a lot that happened. Chris Rock, he helped his kids out with the Girl Scout cookies, and Lady Gaga's performance was one to see. What was your favorite part of the Oscars?
I have to say my favorite part was that Leonardo DiCaprio finally got an Oscar. Finally.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think my favorite might have been the cookies, just because I love Girl Scout cookies, so I like when other people like Girl Scout cookies. And that's just really cool that he did that for his daughter, and he just made it really funny. He was like, I know you have the money, so buy the cookies. So that was good.
I really love the Lady Gaga performance. I thought it was very powerful. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The list of America's most hated retailers is out, and you may be surprised which company is number one. Abercrombie & Fitch scored the lowest on the American Customer Satisfaction Index for the retail industry. And this is Abercrombie's debut on the list. The company scored a 65 on the index, almost 10 points below the entire sector's overall score. Walmart ranked just ahead of Abercrombie with a score of 66. It has ranked the lowest among department and discount stores for nearly 10 years. Okay, guys, so I don't know where you guys like to shop, but how do you guys feel about Abercrombie being the most hated?
You know, I could see it being on the list solely for the fact that it smells so strong of their cologne and their perfume. I feel like I'm going to pass out when I walk in.
Which is why I never shop there.
And it's pitch black. Like, don't expect to see anything that you're looking for because it's just completely dark. I don't understand how they buy anything or put anything on racks when you can't see it all. So.
Definitely.
Luck of the draw, I guess, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Police get a lot of strange calls while working, but members of the California Highway Patrol were shocked when they got the call to locate a missing unicorn. Juliet, a pony who wears a fake horn to appear as a unicorn for photo shoots, escaped Wednesday while posing for pictures with kids. The family hosting the event quickly alerted police, who spent hours trying to find the runaway creature. The search became so desperate, a helicopter and thermal imaging were brought in to help locate Juliet, who was finally found hiding out in an orchard. So, guys, I don't know if you believe in mythical creatures, but how do you feel about this?
I thought that story was adorable. One, because I used to always want a pet unicorn.
I think it's cute. I definitely, if I was a little kid, I would have been really upset about the missing unicorn. But I'm glad they found, the pony. It's not missing.
I want to know how he escaped. Like, what kind of security they have on this thing? Like, obviously not enough.
Well, that's all for the buzz. Now it's time for a check of our Montevallo forecast.
Courtney, I hear there's a chance of bad weather this week.
Yes. Let's take a look at our graphic first, and we can check out the severe weather alert. So Tuesday from 4 p.m. to midnight, you're going to be seeing possible tornadoes and maybe some isolated damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. You can obviously see that Birmingham's in that spot, and that the tornadoes could come between 4 and midnight, so just keep a lookout. And now we'll go to our temperatures for the week, and we'll see the 7-day forecast. All right, on Tuesday we have a high of 72 and a low of 39. We move a little bit lower into Wednesday with a high of 58 and a low of 37. It stays stagnant with a high of 59 and low of 45 on Thursday. And then going into Friday, we're still at the same high 59, low 37. For the weekend, it may warm up a little bit, moving into Saturday with a high of 59 and a low of 37. And Sunday, with being the warmest day other than Tuesday, we're going to have a high of 70 and a low of 49.
Turning to health news, sandwich chain Subway says it's adding antibiotic-free chicken to its menu.
The company claims they beat out fast food rivals to become the first major chain to make the change in all stores. The antibiotic-free rotisserie-style chicken sandwich will be available on March 1st. McDonald's announced a similar move a year ago, but is still working on an implementation. Chick-fil-A says it has now reached 23% of its goal to eliminate antibiotics, with full conversion expected by 2019. Many fast food companies have committed in recent years to selling cleaner ingredients. That's due in part to years of public health warnings about antibiotics in food. Here on campus, some vegetarians are struggling to find enough meat-free options on campus. Falcon Weekly's Courtney Boyd spoke with students and staff about vegetarian options on campus.
Here at Montevallo, students have many options. They can choose where to study, where to hang out, and even where to eat. But some students want more choices about what to eat, especially vegetarians. Sophomore Bailey Shackelford spends countless hours trying to figure out a daily meal plan for her vegetarian diet.
I go to the grocery store once a week and I get sweet potatoes, and I have pastas, and I have pans and stuff for the downstairs kitchen.
Bailey makes 3 meals a day in her room or the kitchen of Brook Hall. But because she lives on campus, she is charged a lot of money for food she doesn't want to eat.
It annoys me that I have to have a meal plan, but I also have to go buy a week's worth of groceries.
The cafeteria does offer some vegetarian options, such as the black bean burger and the salad bar. Bailey says she's more likely to eat in the caf on the days they serve these foods, but they aren't served every day.
I'm going to eat in the caf even though I don't eat in the caf that often, and I'm still paying like $50 every week to make my food myself.
While Bailey has limited options in the cafeteria, the other 2 food options on campus give her hope for meals throughout the day.
I'll eat at Moe's because I can make like the little vegetarian bowls and I can have as many vegetables, and I'll do Einstein's because I like bagels.
While there are many options on campus for vegetarians, such as Moe's here where you can create a veggie bowl or a tofu bowl, students still say that they aren't getting a great value for the money they spend on their meal plans.
Head chef Jason Quarles wants there to be more diversity in the cafeteria.
We're trying to incorporate more. What we run into is that we only have a certain amount of real estate in the cafeteria. And if we make something strictly a vegetarian station, we're taking away from something.
Chef Quarles conducts research in order to change things up in the caf over time.
So right now we're balancing the act based on demand and based on student feedback.
The cafeteria will replace food options at each station as the demand goes up.
I wish that I could have a totally dedicated space just for vegetarians.
Reporting for Falcon Weekly, I'm Courtney Boyd.
The cafeteria updates its food selection based on student feedback. You can go to dineoncampus.com/Montevallo, then click the button labeled Be Heard to give your feedback on UM's dining services.
Eating well is good for your mental and physical health. In today's Health Minute, Mary Maloney explains how certain foods can help boost your brain power.
The bad news, as we age, our brains can become less sharp. The good news, we can improve our chances of maintaining a healthy brain by adding smart foods to our diet like blueberries. Studies show that blueberries may be effective in improving or delaying short-term memory loss. Broccoli, a great source of vitamin K, broccoli is known to enhance cognitive function and improve brain power. Fish, a protein source linked to a great brain boost, is fish, rich in omega-3 fatty acids. For brain and heart health, try eating 2 servings of fish weekly. Whole grains, a diet high in whole grains can cut the risk of heart disease and lower cholesterol. This can reduce your risk of plaque buildup and enhance blood flow, offering a simple, tasty way to fire up brain cells. Nuts. Nuts are good sources of vitamin E, which has been linked in some studies to less cognitive decline as you age. And even chocolate. Dark chocolate contains natural stimulants like caffeine, which can enhance foods. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
Coming up next, the men's basketball team is on the road to championship again.
And the softball team went into extra innings this weekend. Was it a Grand Slam victory, or did the Falcons strike out under pressure? Falcon Fever is next.
Welcome to Falcon Fever. I'm Corey Graffio with a look at this week's sports. Montevallo Hoops continued to shine on Saturday with a 76-71 victory over Armstrong State. Trailing by as much as 13 points in the second half, Terrell Lipkins netted 2 free throws to secure the late comeback. Junior Kevin Kelly also had a big day with 15 points, accompanied by senior Malik Fields knocking down 22 points. This quarterfinals victory advances the Falcons to the semifinals in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. The baseball team took the diamond over the weekend in a 3-game series against Augusta University. The Falcons were swept by the Jaguars, taking their conference record to just 2-5. Falcons softball also battled it out this weekend, taking on the Flagler Saints in a doubleheader on Saturday. Montevallo came up short in Game 1 but bounced back strong with a 5-1 victory in Game 2 after going into extra innings. Colin Kaiser secured the win with a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 8th. The women's tennis team was also in action Saturday as they took on Georgia Southwestern. A 7-2 victory over the Hurricanes marked the first Peach Belt Conference win of the season for the Falcons. With an overall record of 5-2, UM will travel to Georgia to face Albany State University on Wednesday beginning at 12 p.m. Central. Moving on to track and field, the men's team placed 6 out of 11 in the Cougar Invitational on Saturday. Junior Darius Woody posted a 1 minute and 57.21 second 800-meter run time. In the javelin throw, Cage Williamson finished 3rd overall with a distance of 145 feet. Senior Chris Bolden placed 4th overall in the discus throw, good for 116 feet and 1 inch. The women's track and field team also competed Saturday in the first outdoor event of this season. Junior Morgan Booth took the first place in the javelin throw with a distance of 122 feet and 9 inches. Sophomore Yasmin Petway also placed first with a 100-meter hurdle time of 15.27 seconds. The Falcons will compete March 11th and 12th at the Birmingham Southern Invitational. For more recaps and upcoming games for all your Falcon athletics, visit the website at the bottom of your screen. That's a look at this week's sports.
Thanks, Corey. Finally today, turns out you can teach an old dog new tricks.
4 shelter dogs rescued from slums and abandoned lots around Sao Paulo were trained as ball dogs for the Brazil Open tournament. Their job? To retrieve balls that went out of bounds at an exhibition match Thursday and then give them back to the players. They didn't like the giving back part as much as the getting the ball part. A local shelter hopes to raise awareness with the Ball Dog Initiative. In case you're wondering, the 4 dogs were Frida, Mel, Isabel, and Castella, the Portuguese word for rib. Sunday, they are expected to take part in the awards ceremony. So what do you guys think? Isn't this the cutest thing ever?
Yes. It is. Honestly, I probably wouldn't be able to pay attention to the tennis match. I'd probably be playing with the dogs.
Neither would I.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more UM news from MassCom student reporters, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.